Okay, now let's look at 16.1, which is the calculating probability. So the temperature of each day can be average, above average, and below average. So these are what you call your possibilities. So 1, 2, and 3. So these are the possible outcomes. What are the probability that the temperature will be below average? So let's see what the guy said. So the guy said that the probability that tomorrow's temperature will be average is 60%. Average is 60%. Probability that temperature will be above average is 35%. So what is left behind would be below average, because for question number 1, the possible outcomes are average, above average, and below average. So since they want us to find the temperature or the probability of the temperature to be below average, so they gave us average is at 60%, above average is 35%. What's left over of the 5% would be below average. So this is what we're supposed to look for, because all of these percentages must add up to 100%, because that is one whole full probability. So A is actually, you just take 100% minus 60% minus 35%, then you can get probability of below average to be 5%. And now they want not above average. So not above average, there are two possible outcomes. You can either add them together, or you just take one whole probability, which is 100%, minus the other two. Or minus the probability of above average. So now let's look at what are the other two possibilities. Not above average could be average or below average. So these two are the possible outcomes. So if we're looking for probability of not, I'm just putting in capital letter, above average, you can either take 100% minus the probability of above average, because you want everything else but above average. So I can actually use this method and say that this is the percentage, minus 35%, and then the answer would be 65%. Or I can just add the two outcomes that are, and the other two possible outcomes, which should be average plus below average. It will get the same answer. So when we do this, it is just a matter of understanding and see what information is available. If you have this information, you can do it this way or the other. Sometimes you don't have this information, but you might only have this amount. So you have to use it this way. All right, the last one, not below average. So we can do the same thing again. So it's probability of not below average. It's equals to 100% minus probability of below average. 100% minus 5%, answer would be 95%. So I hope this one will clear some doubt on this particular question. So let's look at question number 2. Okay, for question number 2, it says here, when Sasha throws 2 dice, the probability of her scoring 2 sixes is 1 over 36. The probability of her scoring 1 6 is 5 over 18. So what would be the other option? So it can only be the outcomes that we can list out. What are the possible outcomes that there will be? So 2 sixes, 1 over 36. 1 6, 5 over 18. So what's lesser than 1? 0. So how do we find 0, 6? So no 6s, none. So what we need to do is we take one whole, minus away the other two possibilities, and we should be able to get the answer. Okay, so this one we can change to, no, sorry, that's not that, not 30, my bad. Because this one I need to change it to common denominator, 10 over 36. 1 minus 11 should be 24 over 36, which would equal to 2 over 3. Okay, this is actually question for question B. Anyway, the first question, question A, they ask you probability of at least 1/6. So that means it is actually equal to probability of 1/6 plus probability of 2 6s. Because they want at least one, so 1 or more than 1. So you can just add them together. 1 over 36 add 5 over 18 is equals to 1 over 36 plus 10 over 36. 11 over 36 is the answer. Then we look at question B. Question B wants no 6s. We actually did it in the beginning, which is right here. I can just label 0 6s here. Okay. Done for number 2. Now let's look at number 3. Number 3 says Mia spins a coin until she gets a hit. The probability she needs just one spin is half. The probability she needs 2 spins is 1 over 4. The probability she needs 3 spins is 1 over 8. Work out the probability that she needs more than 1 spin. So actually number 3 is actually looking for probability of not 1 spin. Because it can be 4, it can be 5, it can be 6, it can be 7. We don't know what's the probability there. So I cannot take the other outcomes and add them together. What I need to do is I need to use one whole minus the probability of 1 spin. So that I can get 1 minus 1 over 2. Answer would be half. This is question A. Question B. Find the probability that it needs more than 2 spins. So we need to find probability more than 2 spins. So that would mean I need to find probability that it is not 1 and 2 spins. So I can take 1 minus probability of 1 spin minus probability of 2 spins. That should give me my answer. So that should equate me to 1 minus half minus a quarter. So the answer would be 1 minus 2 over 4 minus 1 over 4. Answer would be 1 over 4. And the last one, more than 3 spins. More than 3 spins would be not 1, not 2, and not 3. So probability of more than 3 spins. So 1 minus probability of 1 minus probability of 2 minus probability of 3 spins. 1 minus half minus a quarter minus 1/8. Answer would be change all the denominator to 8, 4 over 8 minus 2 over 8 minus 1 over 8. Answer will be 1 over. All right. So that is question number 3. you need to think on what are the possible outcomes. So for question number 4, this table shows the probability that a train will be late. Work out the missing probability here. So as you know, these are all the possible outcomes. And then this one, the last one here, should be 1 minus the rest, 0.1 minus 0.74 minus 0.12. So if we do this 8696, the answer should be 0.04. Once you get that, they ask you to find the probability that the train is not early. Straight away, take 1 minus probability of early. Answer would be 0.9. Not late. Not late, we need to find 1 minus probability of late. So there are two types of late. 5-minute late, less than 5-minute late, both are still late, so we need to minus both. So the answer will be 1 minus 0.12 minus 0.04. So 0.16, 0.84. All right. And looking at the last question, number 5, a teacher is setting a test for the class next week. These are the probabilities for the day of the test. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Okay, work out the probability that the test will be on Monday or Tuesday. Just add these two up together. You should get 30%. Wednesday or Thursday, add this up together. It should be 60%. And on Friday, it is just 1 minus the rest, which is 90% there. You can see these two add up together should be 90%. 100, sorry, 100, since we're using not fractions, we're using percentages. Answer would be 10%, it should be on the Friday. And that would be all for 16.1.